Welcome, dear viewers, to a gripping tale of love betrayal and the unexpected twists of fate that can lead us to our true destiny. Enjoy the story.
From the moment he was born, John's life was shaped by the dreams of his family. His parents, both talented musicians, envisioned a future where their son would join the ranks of musical greatness. With a lineage rich in melody, it was no surprise that little John was swept into a whirlwind of music lessons, practices, and competitions. His schedule was packed tighter than a concert program, leaving little room for the whims of childhood. While others might find joy in the notes and rhythms that surrounded him, John felt suffocated. He was constantly rehearsing, rushing from school to music lessons, and then home to practice under the watchful eyes of his parents and his grandmother, who had been a renowned musician in her own right. If anyone had asked him what he hated most, he wouldn't have hesitated to say music. Yet he kept this truth buried deep, afraid of shattering his family's expectations. Everything changed on the first day of 6th grade. A new girl named Angela stepped into the classroom, instantly capturing John's attention. She was radiant, with a smile that lit up the room. John's heart raced and then sank. He was painfully aware of his own shortcomings. He was tall and lanky, perpetually clutching a musical instrument, while Angela exuded confidence and charm. For an entire week, he observed her from a distance, trying to muster the courage to approach. Finally, he took the plunge. "Hi, can I walk you home?" he stammered. Angela looked him up and down, a grin breaking across her face. "No, if the wind blows you away, I'll have to take the blame. And what if we run into bullies? I'd have to rescue you." The laughter of their classmates echoed in his ears as he fled home, humiliated. At home, his grandmother noticed something was off. "Why aren't you at music school, John?" "What happened?" she asked. Overwhelmed by emotions, he hurled his violin onto the couch. "Because I hate music. I'm done." The words tumbled out before he could stop them. His grandmother gasped, clutching her heart in shock, while John bolted to his room, locking the door behind him. That moment marked a turning point in John's life. He resolved to take control of his own destiny, firmly refusing to pursue music any longer. His family struggled to understand. Grandma took calming drops, his mom cried, and his dad remained silent, recognizing the struggle all too well from his own youth. Eventually, after much debate and even a visit to a psychologist, John found his path. He joined a sports team, took up swimming, and embraced a lifestyle that was the antithesis of his previous existence. As high school approached, the pressure from his family remained. They gently suggested he consider music or art college, but John stood his ground, declaring he wanted to join law enforcement. His grandmother nearly fainted, and his mom was beside herself with worry. But John was resolute. Unfortunately, he failed the medical exam required for law enforcement, so, gritting his teeth, he reluctantly applied to medical school instead. When he chose forensic pathology, a wave of relief washed over his family, until they learned about the nature of his work. Fast forward a few years, and John found himself settled into his role as a forensic pathologist. One day, he encountered a new, tyrannical boss, a lieutenant colonel known for his intimidating presence and erratic behavior. John tried to keep his head down and focus on his work, but tensions were high in the office. One fateful afternoon, John was called to perform an autopsy on a young woman named Natalie. As he pulled back the sheet, he was taken aback. The deceased didn't bear the usual signs of death. Something was amiss. As he conducted the examination, he felt a faint heartbeat. Against all odds, Natalie was alive. Panic surged through him as he realized that she had been brought in under suspicious circumstances. John called his friend Eaton, who rushed to his side with a doctor. Together they worked to stabilize Natalie, who had been drugged and left for dead. After finding the injection site and administering treatment, they managed to bring her back to consciousness. As she slowly regained her awareness, Natalie's eyes darted around the room before landing on John. "Who are you?" she asked, her voice shaky. "I'm John. You're safe now," he reassured her. Through trembling words, Natalie recounted how she had been hired to clean a mansion where the lieutenant colonel and his associates were partying. When she rejected unwanted advances, she was knocked out and drugged, left for dead as part of a cover-up. John listened intently, understanding the gravity of the situation. The lieutenant colonel needed a medical report declaring her death from a heart attack, which he had tried to manipulate John into providing. Determined to bring justice to Natalie, John and Eaton took swift action. They contacted the authorities, and the lieutenant colonel was apprehended when he arrived at the morgue later that evening, expecting to collect what he thought was a corpse. Months passed, and as John's life began to settle, Eaton was promoted within the department. After much effort, he even managed to reconcile with his wife Allie. They discovered that Natalie's quiet words had impacted her deeply, reminding her of the fragility of life and the importance of support in tough times. As for John, he found an unexpected connection with Natalie, and their friendship blossomed into something deeper. He admired her strength and resilience, and she, in turn, was grateful for the life he had saved. In time, their bond grew into love, and they decided to marry. On their wedding day, surrounded by friends and family, Natalie, a talented violist, prepared a surprise for John. For the first time in years, he picked up his own violin, and together they played a hauntingly beautiful melody that echoed their journey. Tears glistened in the eyes of their guests, a testament to the power of love and redemption. In the end, John had found his voice, not through the pressures of family expectations, but through a love that allowed him to embrace both his past and future. Music, once a burden, became a shared joy, binding them together in a melody of hope and happiness.